All right, probably my favorite thing in the world is Restream chat because I can log out and I can log back in with my information on both the website and the app, and it refuses to actually change. And I have to look for traffic lights every time. Okay. Oh, fire hydrants. Nope. Traffic lights. All right. Does that corner count? Let's see. Traffic lights. All right. Ooh, more traffic lights. Stupid. All right. There we go. That should work. Okay. Off. 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 Now, I'm going to try one thing today. So I've only got an hour. I'm going to bring up, let me just do this. I'm going to try, Magdalena did a rose. I have no idea how she did it, but it looks really cool. So I'm going to try and deconstruct this shape here, use some of the new draping things, and see how far we can get in an hour. Oh, you know what else I need to do? Let's switch over to my real interface. So we did this in the last stream too, where essentially you go to your ZBrush data folder. ZBrush data, so we have, this is the one I'm using. We're going to call this recording, and this will be the real one we're going to use. There we go. So now we'll launch ZBrush. Hey everybody. Oh, stretch. There we go. Now I've got my custom menu back, and we can make some stuff. So let's start with, let's start simple, I suppose. Let's start with a plane. I'm going to try a couple things. So I'll start with a plane. I'll move this down so we can't see it. And, okay. So if we want to make a petal, let's go through here. Let's say make polymesh 3D, and let's go through here with our brush here, and I guess we'll just make a petal shape. And we'll go through here, we'll do an edge loop mask border, and yeah, I do have that in there. There we go, petal shape, delete hidden, zero measure depth size down to 0, and oops, half. That should work, and hopefully that'll be able to drape nicely. And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna go in here to unify, and we're going to turn on our floor here. And let's go ahead and rotate this downwards. There we go. So we'll go ahead and hold down Control, drag this off, and we'll just kind of rotate this petal around here. Let's see, should we do 4? Yeah, why not? 1, 2, 3. Oh, these look like they have 3. So here's what I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's do 3. Let's do 3 around. And also let's change the startup material so you can see it. I think that could work. And you know what, just for the heck of it, just for easier selection later, we don't have to do this now, but we can go ahead and say auto groups. And we'll go ahead here to subtool, we'll go ahead and duplicate this off. W, we'll control drag this up, and I'm going to go to unmatch mesh center, and I'll rotate this around. It's another rotation, rotate this around. And you know what, let's hold down control and tap this. Let's do this. Auto groups, control tap this one. And we should also eventually, let's do, oh, you know what else we can do? So we can see this a little bit easier. You see how they disappear when you go to the side. Let's go down here to geometry, dynamic, and we'll say, what will we say? We'll say dynamic with some thickness. There we go. So now we can grab all these, W, control drag up, unmesh mesh center. Let's go ahead and scale these down a bit as we go in, up, scale down, drag it in, up, scale down, drag it in. We'll see how this looks. Up. You know what? We might even be in happy accident land. We'll see how this turns out. And okay, let's see how that looks. So now let's go ahead and just do a quick auto groups, and we'll go ahead and keep that dynamic thickness on there because why not? So now I need something that's going to root all of these insides. So let's go in here to mask, lasso. Front and back. Or you know what we could do? Let's say, mask lasso should work okay. I mean, I guess I could do it by a layer. So you can go Control Shift. It's like, okay, I want to root all of this. Step down through the layers. Let's think. We got these top ones here. Is there a quick way to step through? I mean, I guess what we could do is, oh, you know what? It loses dynamic, which is why it's doing that. Let's take this one. By a layer. Seems like there's something I'm missing here. Yeah, you know what? I'm not even sure this is going to work, so I'm just going to quickly kind of go through here, and we'll just say mask pin on these bottom ones here. Alright, so we'll call this good enough, possibly, and then we'll say Control Tap to kind of blur that mask out, and let's put our gravity this away, and let's go into our dynamics menu here, and let's try, set direction, gravity strength down. We're in that simulation here, and we need a bit of self-collision, I think. And then also we're missing some masks on some of these petals here. Maybe that one. Hard to say. I'm trying not to have to go through every layer, but we may not have too much of a choice. Or you know what? Not all flowers are perfect. Some of those petals might have just gotten fallen off. So we'll give that a shot here. Is it leaving? Yeah, it left. Okay, that's interesting. And then we might need to finagle those edges back down, but I wonder if I can go through here and mask now. And we can say set direction. Let's grab these two, Control Shift A. You know what? We might use those layers. We'll say split hidden. So now we got this one here. And then we can say rerun or brush cloth wind here. Or let's crank up that self collision, see if that splits them apart. We might have to inflate maybe a little bit. Brush transpose maybe. ETC. Or invert this mask, go in here and unmasked. And see if we can't. Scale this out. Let's turn off self collision. I'll have to think about that one. Oh yeah, actually I could probably use some coffee right now. Variable cursor size adjustment. Oh, I just realized variable cursor size adjustment. Like tapping S, draw size. Cool. Hey John, you? Sorry I keep rocking my camera. It's a little bit touchy. I'm standing up on my stand-up desk now, but every time I put my hands down, the whole operation jiggles. Cool. So let me think about this. So if I have, oh, you know what else I might need? I might need a collision volume. So let's try that. Let's try to put a, oh gosh, we got to go back to this one. Oops. Let's go back here. I'll delete this one here. I mean, you could probably use that for something, but I can't use it for much, I don't think. So now, let's see. If we have a collision volume of a ball, and maybe we need to actually move these down a little bit. So let's take all of these, and we'll say, yep, BTR for regular old transpose. So we'll say, you guys go down here. We'll get these a little bit closer. And also, because that's using the thing too, they kind of all start as a sphere anyway. So if I need to drape these around something, let's try to append a sphere here. I'll just shrink this down, and we can maybe try using this as some sort of a collision volume for them to drape around. So now with this one selected, we'll say, okay, you, collision volume, off, liquefy off, run simulation, and gravity should be opposite, or collision off, on mast off. Whoa, there it goes. That's kind of a cool effect though. You could, nice bullet hole effect. So let's see, let's try, you know what, these are all close enough now that we could probably go through here and just use an old mask pin. Old trusty mask pin to go through here and see if that'll work. So let's see here, run simulation. So we might need also a little bit of self-collision here. But those do get smaller, and then these ones on the outside. Okay, we might be getting somewhere. Well, that's kind of a flowered-looking thing. More of a cabbage. You know what? Let's do a Guns and Cabbage album cover. That's what we're going to do today. I just decided. We've got 50 more minutes. Legend. Legendary I am. Cool. Thanks for showing up, Dev Kumar. Am I to find history recall to be useful in a production pipeline? Yes, very much so. 5 a.m. wake-up calls. Aren't those fun? All right, so we got our Guns and Cabbage ready to go. I mean, I think that gets us pretty close. I think that's a viable technique. What you could do is you could take a sphere and you could mask the petals off of a sphere shape and then explode them out. But I mean, I guess really what we would need it to do is, let's take this sphere, let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's recalculate that collision volume. Let's also set that inflate down to 0. And then, because I want it to get all the way in, I think, and then I'm going to have to go in and kind of fold it back over. Whoa. Rerun that collision volume recalc. There we go. And you know what, we could probably make this a little bit stronger. Maybe crank up the iterations just a bit. Self-collision at 1 seems to be okay. And I can also add more subdivisions to this geometry. It's like, okay, get around it. Oh, you know what? Firmness is probably up a little bit too high. If I really want it to wrap, let's take this down to 1. This is my favorite part of ZBrush, is I can just step back and let it do the heavy lifting with this new claw simulation. I don't even have to sculpt. I just sit back and watch it go. Is that gonna do it? Let's see. Okay. So that wrapped it a little bit closer. And I also have to remember, I can hit WBTC, and I can also just kind of, I can do a little bit of work and allow my transpose brush to do it, and then also I can kind of like scale it in. Oh snap, I think we got a winner. So now we can make like a little tulip, and then we can say, okay, so that's it following. Also, let's go in here to our divide, and let's say smooth subdiv 1. So we've got it to follow the shape and kind of wrap around. And then if I can just get the bottom of these petals to stay. I wonder if there's an auto masking option for like mask by screen space. That I don't know. Auto masking by like directional masking. By pressure. Oh wait, no, that's for my brush, isn't it? I mean, I guess all you really need to do is this. That would be screen space, so that's kind of a dumb thing to look for, but All right, so let's say, you know what? Let's duplicate that off. We might need to go back to that step, and then we'll say collision volume run simulation, and that's going to. Let's go ahead and reset that direction. But I want it to go out. I want it to inflate outwards. So let's turn a little. Is inflate and expand going to help us out? A little bit. Let's just try inflate. No, go outwards. Go outwards. All right. Oh, you know what? We can go back in here to our brush cloth transpose, and we can say, hey, you know what? Let me help you out there a little bit. Let me just. Oh. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Scale outwards. Oh, I still have inflate on. Let's see if we can't just. And you know what? We probably don't even need gravity on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. I think you can do it. Fold. Fold. It's close. Ish. All right. Well, now it gets into, Mike, you're going to have to do some actual work. So let's go in here to our move brush, and we'll say, go back to auto masking, and we'll just do mask by topological. Of course, if you're new to ZBrush, B. Oh, it's going to be one of those mornings. B for brush, M for move, and then T for topological. Yeah, I was actually waiting for. I was like, man, if you could use dynamics on curves and drape tubes and stuff around, that'd be so awesome. And then they did it, and boy, was it awesome. It actually helps quite a bit. If you guys are really new, I don't know that anybody here is, but just in case, let me bring my my usual suspects up. And also, here's some Guns N' Roses covers. What would be a good? This one doesn't really have even a rose on it, just a bunch of skull dudes. I guess this is her. That one's got a little rose. I don't know. Probably this one. This one. This one. That'll work. We'll try something like that. Okay. So we've got that. We've got our rose-ish. Is it a great rose? No. Let's see if we can't get this to kind of work a little bit better. So we have dynamic thickness on here. We can also go through here because this is just a plane. So while we're sculpting, that thickness is just going to follow along. So that's going to be really helpful. Let me just go back to startup material here. As we're kind of mushing these planes around, and let's also go into topological for the clay brush here, and also maybe brush cloth. Let's see if there's anything in here that'll kind of help us out. It kind of gives us some little ruffles. It's not a bad thing. Twister. Oh, we still have. Let's turn that collision volume off. And let's do on brushed, so it kind of keeps this a little bit more localized. What's going on here? Back off. And also smooth brush, topological. Now I'm starting to wish. You know what we could do too? Instead of having it be like, oh, let me turn on topological for all my brushes, let's be a little smarter than that. And let's go to mask by polygroups, because these are all auto grouped in here, right? So now they all have different polygroups. Now I can just use one global setting as opposed to the alternative. Now, also, as soon as I get rid of this, there's going to be a big gap in there. What I could do is like what we talked about before. We could take this sphere. Let's go ahead and duplicate this off. And we'll say, or let's do this. Again, work smarter. What direction are we in? Y, radial count. Oh, do we get off axis? Okay, fine. Local symmetry. There we go. We'll make some petals on here. And we'll do another edge loop mask border. Delete hidden, zero mesh half, that size down to 0. And oh boy. Let's turn off transform we got on. Oh, right. Zero measure. Half. It might be a little low. Okay, so we got some more petals. And let's go ahead and scale this in. We have cloth brush. BTR. Here. Think. Those petals are broad. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Delete hidden. W. Control tap. And let's go up here. And you know what? Let's just reset this. So now I can go U wider. U wide U. And U. Oops. That's what I'm looking for. Will this work? And these I could maybe even manually just place them. I don't really necessarily need them. I mean, we can go and turn on dynamic, give us a little bit of thickness here. Maybe go smooth subdiv of 1. Scale these in on mesh center. And we'll drag off a little copy, rotate, scale, drag off a little copy, rotate, scale. And these are getting smaller though, they need to maintain. So let's go ahead and say, scale these up a little bit. I don't know. It's a lot of manual work. I'm not here to work. Okay, so we got this, and we have a global mask by polygroup, so we can go through here and we can kind of manually kind of bend these the other direction. You could also turn on cloth simulation on this brush if you wanted to. Where's that at again? Brush, elasticity, down here under simulation iteration. So we're still on brush, so it's going to give us a radius around our mesh, but then as we're using this, if we have any brush settings like, oh, I want to expand while I'm using the standard brush and I want it to kind of simulate, we could do that too, and that might kind of help us as we're bringing these petal sides forward to kind of give us a little bit of that. Again, not great. I'm going to have to play with this a little bit more, but we're strapped for time. So if we end up only getting a cabbage, I'm just have to live with that. So we got this one here. Let's go ahead and do an auto groups here. Let's go ahead and take this sphere, our original sphere, and we'll just scale this down just a bit. And we'll push this back up. And actually, you know what? We'll kind of non-uniformly scale just to give it something to maybe simulate around. I'm not sure if that's a great idea, but we'll give it a shot. And turn off, you know what, let's leave expand on. Run simulation, recalculate our collision volume with that off and that on. Let's kind of scooch this in here. And now, let's see, expand self-collision set on 1. That should be fine. Oops. There we go. Recalculate that, please. Whoa, stop. That's kind of neat. Let's not use expand then. Or we can use expand maybe a little bit, but not that much. Oh, gravity, we need to set the direction. Duh. There we go. And they're gone. Oh, you know what? Maybe even a little bit of twist might be helpful. Let's see here. Let's use this and let's kind of rotate as we kind of push these around. Of course, we got to use BTC, which for y'all is brush transpose cloth. We can kind of let me see here. Turn these back on. Yeah, do those even twist? Maybe not as much, but these ones kind of do, don't they? So as we're kind of going through here and kind of scaling these things around with our cloth brush here, maybe we can give a little bit of twists as we go around here. Interesting. All right. Oh yeah, and let's flip these. So let's say brush cloth hook, maybe, and then again we want to be on brushed. Gravity off. Collision volume, probably don't need anymore. I'll go through here and we'll kind of flip these boys around. Boy, that's touchy. And you could go in here like just a real regular move brush and do some bigger changes here. But we may need to go in here and say, turn off my topological, turn off my mask by polygroups as well. You can kind of go through here and do global adjustments as well. Let's do that a little bit. It's kind of, I don't really get a good side view of these, do I? Might even be brush transpose regular R. We'll scale this down just a bit. I don't know. We'll call that done. So what's next? Let's see here. Oh boy, I'm behind now. Oh yeah, Little Shop of Horrors. Hey, now you might be honest on them. Let's take a look. Does that thing have a name? The little cabbage plant? Let me see, images. That's actually a really good idea. You mind if I steal that? We'll do that today. That'll be a little bit easier than me making a revolver and some vines and some needles. Yes, I agree that we had to scale that sphere down quite a bit. Cabbages and roses. I think we're going to go with this John Hughes idea of a Little Shop of Horrors. How to project high detail chainmail on a low poly model sometime. I think, I mean, if all it is like, you have your micro poly and it's chainmail, and then you have, are you talking about like on a low poly model? It should just be like, when you bake your map and you have a low poly, it's more of like adjusting your cage, I think. Because if you have, and do your micro poly, hit apply, now you have real geometry, and then you want to bake that to a map. The real trick is getting, no, I mean, you should like in X normal or in Marmoset, you can bake opacity too. It might be a little squirrely if you wanted opacity with your low res, but then again, that's going to be kind of expensive too on red runtime. And also you'd have to be pretty high res. Honestly, it all goes back to like, I probably wouldn't bake chainmail unless you wanted to bake it for a tiling material. So if you wanted to bake like, okay, here's my micropoly chainmail with the opacity, getting my normal map information, and then tile that across a low poly surface, that's what I would do, as opposed to, here's my chainmail shirt, let me unwrap this 0 to 1 and bake some really minute chainmail with a really high resolution opacity map, because that would be really expensive, and a tiling material would just make more sense. Yeah, I think you just bake it. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, unless there's like a really weird setting. Yeah, I think the trick would be getting a nice opacity mask pull. Well, you could do that. You could say, here's my color ID, and then maybe do some Substance Designer or Photoshop where you just say, take my key registration color, bake ID map in that case, if you wanted. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, boy, I'd probably have to stumble through that one. It looks like Facebook isn't connecting. Sorry, everybody on Facebook. All right, so we'll call this our Little Shop of Cabbage beginning. So we have this, we kind of have a flower, but if we're going to do a Little Shop of Horrors thing, so I've got this pulled up. I don't know that it has a name other than just gross plant thing. but we could do this real quick. So I'm going to say, just trying to get a good shot. Boy, that's creepy. Okay, so here's what we're going to need to do. This is fine. So we're going to say we can keep this around if we need to, but we also have this little guy right here who can be the start of our Little Shop of Horrors head. We may need to open these a little bit more, so we're going to say let's go scale this out and scale this non-uniformly. So this will kind of be our little head in here, and then this thing too. Let's go ahead and drag back to where we had the original shape, because I think that might work just as well. And then, boy, I don't have any, I guess I don't need that great a reference, but, so it's kind of got these little cabbage things. Oh, okay, that's a little bit better. So actually this can be quite a bit larger. So we'll go ahead and scale this up here. And you know what, let's take this to world middle. Okay, that's world center. Let me see here, solo, let's just hit unify on this thing. There we go. So I'm going to take you, and I'm going to conform you to world center here. Just because I might need some sort of central axis there. And we'll also scale this. You know what, I changed my mind, we'll scale this down. So this will poke through a little bit more. And you know what else we could do? We could maybe even go in here with a deformer and say, give me just very general points here. And now in this case, it kind of sucks, but you know, that's art, is these actually follow the shape a little bit more. So we could go through here and we could probably do a contract a little bit too. So we'll go down here and we'll say gravity, set direction, calculate that collision volume, and we'll do a slight contract as we run the simulation. And let's see, self-collision firmness, calculate, maybe don't contract, maybe just let them do their thing. And then BTC, let's scale this. Okay, fine, BTR. Now you can choose like allow contract and allow expand to kind of do those scales, but it's probably easy enough to just kind of scale those down. So these might be a few too many pedals for what we're trying to go for, but I think we'll be okay. So we've got this, and now let's do this. So we're going to go through here, and really quickly, let's hold down Control Shift. Let's go into Slice Curve, and we'll get that nice kind of upper jaw look, and then down here, and then kind of twist this back up around like so. And that'll be our zero measure, keep group, smooth groups down to 0, half, depth size down to 0, and that'll be our geometry for our little head here. Now, we do got a little bit of work to do. We're going to have to go through here, turn on X symmetry. Let's do a quick mirror and weld, zero mesh. There we go. So we can kind of taper this out. Let's go out of poly, stay in polyframe mode. Let's turn off floor. Let's go to another skin here. So go through here and be like, okay, this will be this, and now we can actually help this out. Let's say collapse edge here, and we'll say same. And we don't even need these together. It's not like we need those verts to weld for any reason, but why not? So this kind of comes in here, and now we can say, okay, let's split this one off. And now we could say we could do dynamic thickness, but I think we're going to end up needing real thickness anyway. So let's just go through here. Let's say Q mesh polygroup all. We'll pull in, and we'll do our display properties flip. So now we got this one, flip, and then it's going to open its mouth, and it's going to have stuff in there too. Now it does have a couple different poses where it's like, okay, it's just got like basically a lip. So let's go through here, and I think this geometry will be fine. I'm not going to be stressing the geometry enough to really need to go into Dynamesh or anything right now. So let's do this. Let's do crease polygroup, crease level of 2, smooth subdiv of 3, no thickness. So now that's kind of our result we're working for. And let's also make this, looks like it's a little bit thicker too. And then we can go through here. Let's try this. Let's do a transpose edge loop complete, and we'll just mask off this, and then we'll unmask this, and then blur it a little bit. Now I can go through here with my move brush and kind of make this a little more lip-tastic. Now this bottom one here, kind of the same deal. This looks like it overlaps, like kind of Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus Rex face here, and then over here we can say, let's pull this up. There we go. And same thing for this one here. This one, let's maybe not blur that mask out. So we can go through here, we'll go back in here to transpose edge loop, and then we'll just say, you need to be more lip-tastic here, and then we'll unstress these by just running a quick smooth. Let's turn our Z intensity down, because I like to do a smooth stronger. That's my default setting. And also let's turn off elasticity for my standard brush. I forgot that I did that. Okay. All right, so we got a little shop of horrors things going, and now it's just a bunch of sculpting, I think, because that's a basic shape, give or take. Maybe pop this in a little bit here, maybe. And let's also do this. Crease polygroup, crease level of 2, smooth subdiv of 3. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then we're also going to need some, a pot. That's going to be nearly impossible to make, right guys? So we'll go down here. We could sculpt a pot out. That might be easy as well. And we'll grab a cylinder, edit, make polymesh 3D, and we'll say geometry, edge loop, delete loops, simplify, man, and then BTR. Okay. And then same thing here. We can just, you know what, we'll just transpose that edge loop, invert that, go down mesh center, and okay, fine. Scale this in. I'm not getting a real good view of that pot, but I'm just going to say, can't be that hard, can it? Let's do a quick group by normals, get rid of this top one here, and say delete hidden, and we'll say QMesh polygroup ball is probably fine here, and then we'll say, let's do this, clip curve, and then, yeah, these pots have that little ring around it, insert single edge loop, polygroup, polyloop, QMesh polygroup ball. Let's run just a quick crease tolerance, crease level 2, smooth. Oh, did I do that? Did I do that? Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay. Non-manifold geometry. These are all one polygroup now. That should help. And then let's just do this first. Insert single edge loop. Bada bing. And then we'll clip this back now. And now we'll do a QMesh. Polygroup ball. Oh, not QMesh. Stupid. Polyloop. QMesh. Polygroup ball. Crease level 2. Smooth subdiv of 3. And we'll put in some control loops here. Insert single edge loop. Bada bing. And then for the bottoms here, might be a little bit easier just to do an inset legacy flat island. I think those are still flat, right? Yeah, you and you and you all get a little control loop to help you out there. Okay, so we got a pot. And we need to add this to our scene. Subtool, append cylinder here. And he's looking this way. Do I like that? Because I need him to look forward. So we'll do this. Move multiple, hash everything, and we're going to say, okay, pot, you're out. Cabbage boy, you're in. And then invert that. I'll move this down. And oh, this pops up a lot on my YouTube channel here. So you see how the floor kind of follows around the lowest subtool as I move it. If you go in here to draw, what's 1, it's going to automatically snap. If you set it to 0, that's your actual world axis. So I'm going to keep it at -1 because I like having a little ground plane that I can render to. but FYI. Okay, so if we need to fill this thing with some dirt, let's go ahead and say duplicate this off. I'm going to go ahead and apply those dynamic changes here, and we're going to say delete lower. And I'm just going to take a quick look inside of here and see if I can't take maybe this, say delete hidden, go into solo mode. Let's go ahead and flip this around so my brain doesn't get too crazy. Can we reconstruct? Yeah, I'll reconstruct this back. Sorry, I shouldn't have made that low. Close convex hole. So now we can do this, or, you know, if I want to make this dirt a little bit lower, I don't know how low I want to go. Let's go in here to transparency. Let's say we didn't have this insert single edge loop, so we were like, well, where do I want the dirt level? Maybe here. So we can say, get rid of that green, delete hidden, close, convex hole here. And also I don't need, I mean, I guess if it's going to be a glass bowl, you would need dirt here, but I just need a veneer. Delete hidden, is that the right word? And then Control W, and you know, let's knock this dirt back a little bit. Also, probably what we should do, let's do this. Let's do zero mesh double, keep poly groups, smooth groups down to zero mesh, because I need some information in here, and in fact, double's not going to do it. Sorry, man. There we go. Because I need information in there. If I'm going to be putting dirt on there, right? If I want to like put some noise on that surface. So go through here and we want to say deformation noise. And obviously, you know, we can go through and we can sculpt rocks and dirt, and we can actually put a dirt material on there. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But just to kind of get started. Okay, and we can also use, I think, a little more dynamics too. But for our body, we can use Z-spheres. That seems like a good choice. We'll say append a Z-sphere here. We're going to say E, X, E, W, transparency mode. So here's going to be basically, where's it going to go? We're going to go into draw mode, Q, go right here, and we'll stick his neck right here, and then Q, 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 W, and that would kind of be the start of whatever that needs to be, right? Good enough. Real easy. Let's say down here underneath adaptive skin, we'll say density down, preview. Well, looks good to me. Make adaptive skin, and then we'll go right on back up here. Append that skin Z-sphere. And then we'll say skin Z-sphere, Z-sphere, Z-sphere we don't really need anymore, that's fine. Okay, so now we have geometry here. We can go through, and we can hit Control W, and we can run like a polish by features or something, just kind of smooth it out, or go through here and do some quick bendy shapes. Get what we need. You know, you could have also used a cylinder and use bend curve. That'd probably be even better. So now we're going to go through here. We can inflate this up a bit. That'll be the base for our thing, and then that's just sculpting. That's just boring sculpting. And by boring means I have to do work. Oh, the worst. Let's do some more petals around here. These petals seem to be kind of longer. We can kind of flop some petals out. I'm having a real hard time with these images. Okay, so there's vines coming out, and just a few big petals it looks like. And also it looks like some other stuff too. Okay, so for vines, let's do this. Let's go out of edit mode. Let's hit Control N. And if you guys, oh yeah, I forgot to show you guys this. My profile. Please. Thank you. So we have the ZBrush What's New 2021 series. If you missed it, it's got 63 videos. Something stupid like 8 hours of content for a release that, I don't know. That's a lot of hours. But you can go ahead through here and you can watch this stuff. And also, I mean, the demos are on there too. There's also the ZBrush demos page if you want to see these. So what we're going to be doing right now is like physics modeling. So going through here and just doing, that's a cool song, but it's loud. Going through here and doing this type of thing. So we can just kind of drape. Oh, thank you, Hassan. ZBrush, time-lapse. Yeah, so there's some time-lapse stuff in here, as well as the actual movies in here, and of course on my YouTube channel, but these might have a little bit more stuff to look at. So real quickly, we can go through here. We got a new scene. Okay, we're going to polymesh 3D, edit mode. Go down here, and we're going to say initialize Q grid, and then we're going to say scale this way down and stretch it way out, and then go in here and say insert multiple edge loops here. This is just to make it so it'll bend around, and it'll say brush, create insert mesh, new. So now, actually we can hit W, brush, create insert mesh. You know what, we'll append it. Maybe we don't want to go back to that one. So we'll go back here, and we can start saying, okay, so I want these vines to kind of like go around and kind of be flopped over a bit. Here. Oh, yeah, did I? Okay, good. BTR. Sorry. So we've got these vines here. Maybe not that big. We'll keep this a little more self-contained. And we'll have these vines, and then maybe some of these vines, and then maybe, oops, I'm just control dragging out, by the way, some of these vines here, and yeah, I think this might work. Okay, so basically what I want to do is have these things kind of drape, but I want these to fall faster. Let's go in here to auto groups and then do a, oops, forgot I was still attached to the dang old neck. Let's grab the neck, split hidden, mirror and weld. Okay, so W, control tab, X symmetry turned on, move in a little bit because I want these to be like, okay, you be, okay, yeah, we can do this, Let's go ahead and move these in a bit. I always forget, like, oh, I have to simulate this. It's going to be difficult, because that's how it is in Marvelous Designer, where it's like, I can't really do much. I can kind of grab things a little bit, but then I'm like, I don't have to worry about that. All I have to do is mask here. Let's go in here to, like, mask circle. I'll say here, and then we just switch this on over to on masked, hit W, go to I guess unmatched mesh center is not going to do it, huh? Unmatched mesh center, X symmetry turned off. And then invert that mask, so on masked here, oh, BTC. So now I can go through here and I can force this collision volume off. Here, on mask, might get that wrong. So I can move this stuff around. Oh, right, invert that. There we go. So now I can be in control of, like, okay, what's simulating and how. Now, if I had geometry, so right now what I could do is I could go in here while I'm doing these shenanigans, go in here to my dynamic, no smooth subdiv, but we can go in here to micropoly, and we can toss on like a tube here, and let's go ahead and see if a line can't help us here. Oof, boy, it really doesn't. So let's say rotate Z, so most, okay, these ones work. Can I just do a quick, oh, probably not, huh? You know what I could do? Be like, oh, sorry guys, you're out. Or I could just take these ones here and say split hidden, and I could say now rotate. And then maybe if I merge those bad boys back down. No! Think. Okay, Shift A here, because I think when I hit rotate, it's gonna do it for both. Yep. And what I'm really trying to avoid having to do is go through here and say, so you can go into your Z modeler brush and say, okay, I can spin edges here, and then I can go through and do a spin. Okay, we can just do one side. That's fine. Well, here's the other thing too, is I don't necessarily even need to do this. I'm just demoing this, so why am I acting like this has to be done? Okay, so we can put a micropoly on here. So if I wanted to go through and make like basically a cylinder and apply this, I could. And so now when I go through here, and just for demonstration purposes, we can mask this out. We could turn off on masked, and then we could just say run simulation. Of course, we need some gravity here and also collision volume. So when we run the simulation, it'll go through, up, floor please. There you go. So now these vines will stick with the floor, and then let's also inflate that out a bit. And then for that dynamic, we don't have any oh, we do have thickness turned on. No, that's panel loop thickness, stupid. so I don't have an offset I need to worry about, but I can just go through and move that. So we have this, and then we can invert that mask, and then I can run the simulation. Boy, but that collision volume didn't work great, did it? So let's try this. Let's say U, off, off, on. This might make it a little bit easier for it. So collision volume recalculate. And then this is interesting. So I could go through here. Let's do this. Controls. Let's do can I do a brush radius with a mask? We're in untread territory here, everybody. No, you cannot. That's okay. So we're going to go through here. And we're going to say mask, and then, come on, Mike, unmask. And then now we can say run simulation. Oh, look at that. That'll work. So again, this is just micropoly. It's you can change this out to anything, like we were talking about before. You can change this over here to chainmail, and now you have a little chainmail thing. And then you can go in here to like brush, cloth, hook. You can go through here and like do whatever you need to do to this stuff. But that'll kind of work fine. But again, it's a vine, and I don't really need this. And I could use a cylinder, but what I could also try and do is, and I'd also want a taper. So easy way to do that is go ahead and turn micropoly off. We don't even need dynamic on really. And go through here, and I could say, give me a break. And I could say polygroup polyloop. So this side here, here, and here. And now I can say stroke, curve, 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 shift, 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 stroke my polygroup border. And then now I can go through here and I could go a taper thick to thin. Now, I like to use my own personal taper cylinder. So we're going to go cylinder 3D, edit, make polymesh 3D. How are we doing on time? Okay, we got 9 minutes. Initialize, go down here to X. And I might be able to hop back on because really I just have to do one quick thing. So we'll see how that goes. But, oh, I'm stupid. Cylinder, that's what happens if my brain goes somewhere else for a minute. H divide, we'll say 8 should be enough. Oops. 8 should be okay. V divides down. I think that'll be okay. Yeah, let's hold that edge a little bit better. Let's say 12. Okay, so we're going to say make polymesh 3D, and then we're going to say Control Shift. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Okay, Control Shift. No, we're not. We're going to say Insert multiple edge loops. 1, 2. Control Shift. Now we can grab this one. Control W. Control W. Scale this out. So this will be our tripart curve brush, BTR. And I think that'll be okay. So brush, create insert mesh, new, stroke, curve mode, brush settings. Let's go ahead and clear some of these out with that R button. And then we'll go down here to modifiers. Curve res up a little bit. Triparts is fine, weld points. And now we have our own little curve brush here. Now what we want to do is we want to do a taper. And we could add details of this too, like if you wanted to put tentacle suckers on there or something like that, but that's not what we're doing. So, oh yeah, so intensity, size, curve, fall, if we're going to go thick to a little thinner, and that should work. And if you also want to play around with a tentacle brush or something like that, you probably want to go in here to max bend angle. If you turn it up to 90, you'll be able to do really tight bends, which, you know, a tentacle wouldn't be able to do. I put it to 0, you can be like, and it'll keep it away from each other. Now this, I don't really need to worry about that too much. So, no, I'm not going to be doing that. But we can go back here, and we can say, give me a curve. Let's make our brush size very much smaller. There we go. And if that taper isn't quite enough, or we want to put that depth down, we'll go over here and say depth. What is that embed? Come on. Embed that right on there. And then, I wonder, look at that. We can even go through here. Okay, neat. So we have this rocking and ready to roll, and we're going to go over here to the curve options, and we're going to say, I want to lock the start. So that way I can pull, and then I'll kind of stick those on there a little bit better. I wish now, I don't suppose, could I put elasticity onto this brush and have it like respect? No, that shouldn't be possible. That's impossible. No gravity, collision volume. What? Alright, that's pretty sweet. Is it actually doing it? Get out of here. Oh, you beautiful bastard. Alright, so you can have a curve brush with elasticity, which will respect collision volume. So that's neat. Okay, so now, yeah, I can literally go through here. Oops, keep this small. Oh, dang, did I touch that? Okay. So I can go through here and I can like animate these things around and it will mostly respect that collision volume, which is nuts. It doesn't seem like it should. Like, that's just too much. That's too cool. And you can go through here. So I'm like literally animating a curve respecting collision volumes as I go. Boy, that's a neat one. I'm going to have to pull that one out and put it into its own video, I think. I don't want people to miss that because nobody watches these things. Except for you guys. You guys are awesome. But nobody else is. Dang, 6:55. I gotta go. I might be back. Let me see. Turn this off. But that's cool. I think that's cool. I think we got a good start here. We don't need this original anymore. And that's a really cool technique. I think that works gangbusters. Now, what you would do here at this point, just you don't need these little things over here anymore. So Control Shift A, or you know what we could do? Get rid of these. Control Shift A. We can say, okay, let's split, but then let's also just mirror those over, and now I can do the exact same process over here and use curves to go ahead and animate those. Oh boy, that kind of collapsed in that collision volume a little bit. You know what you could do then? You could use a micropoly and then taper this at the end. You don't have to taper down the curve, and that would allow you to not have, you know, on this side, remind me, we'll do that. We'll do a micropoly that doesn't taper, but will allow us to respect that collision volume a little bit simpler, and then convert it after the fact so we don't get that kind of, I mean, that's easy enough to fix, but anyway, thanks everybody. I gotta go. Oh yeah, on the marketplace. There's bonus videos. Thank you, John. YouTube videos, playlist. Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube page here, there's playlist section, and then in here, there's all sorts of stuff. Created playlists, or yeah. So down here, where is it? 2021. What's new? It's kind of buried down here, but here's my live stream full episode. So if you go through here, also if you're ever looking for anything in particular, or it's like, where does he talk about fiber mesh? I try and do tags right. I don't know that I get it right every time, but you should be able to type that in, and there should be stuff for you to check out too. Micropoly is only with ZBrush 2021. Is there a shortcut key to scale the model or zoom in and out? Yeah, those are two different things. But yeah, you can zoom in and then also use a scale. I don't think I understand. Oh, tap and hold on the screen and press a button to zoom in and out. Yeah, that's, so navigation. I'll help you out there. Go to my YouTube channels, type in navigation. There's going to be like 7 videos on just ZBrush navigation. Probably number 7, the pretty thumbnail is probably your best bet. Cool. Sorry, just before I leave. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, everybody. Sure, you can message me in ArtStation. Give me a long time to reply, but I'm super flaky. Thanks, everybody. And I'm so sorry. Like, this would have been a cool one to finish out, but I just got to go and do one stupid thing. But I'll be back. Maybe. Keep your eyes peeled. We'll say this is going to be Little Shop of Horrors Part 1. Thank you again, John Yu, for the idea. And always being there to support the stream, man. And